So just having a look at lists here. So the idea of a list is it's something that can hold a variety of elements. Okay, so in the example here, I've got a list called names, and I've put an equal sign, and I've used square brackets, and inside the list I've got a series of names which are strings because they've got the speech marks and they're split up with the commas. Okay, if you miss a comma, you're going to get an error. If you miss a bracket, you're going to get an error, and if you miss a speech mark, you also get an error. So just check those. Now, when you deal with a list, what you're going to end up with is, if I just get these for a second. So when we print our list, so if I do print names, okay, we are going to get all names printed out. Okay. If we want to pick certain elements from the list, what we do is we use what we call index numbers. Okay, and index numbers always start at 0. Okay, because to a computer, 0 is a number. So the first item in the list is always index number 0. The second item is 1. Third item is 2, and so on. Okay, so we've got to remember that the first item is always going to be 0. So if I go ahead and print 0, you can probably imagine what we are going to see. Let's see if it works. Sachin, okay, because Sachin is position 0 in the list. Okay, now we can print things like that. We could also assign it to a variable. So I could have something like first name equals names 0, and then print first name, and that would assign Sachin to the variable first name. Okay. So depending on this number will be the item of the thing in the list that we use. Okay. So go ahead and create this list and add 5 names. I've added 4. Add another one. You should, hopefully, if you do what I've done, see the first element in the list if you do 0. Can you then print out the last name in the list only? Okay, so see if you can give that a go. Don't forget, use square brackets when you're using index numbers. Okay, they should match the square brackets of the list. So that's our first task. Now, once you've done that, you can pause the video here. And when you've done it, you can unpause and come back to task 2. And this is where we can do a few different things with our lists. Okay. So this time I've got a list of integers. Okay, you can see there scores 1 to 0. So position 0 in the list is going to be 1. Position 1 is 2. Position 2 is 3, and so on. So it can get a bit confusing. You just have to remember that index numbers start at 0. Okay. So I've got a few bits of code here. Okay, and we'll just see what they do. So if I go ahead and run the code, the first one, as we've seen, will print the first element from the list. Okay, so index number 0. The second one, 3 to 5, now it's printed the numbers 4 and 5. So if we look at the index numbers here, I can write them up the top to make it easier for us. So 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay. So what that has done, 3:5, that's printed the numbers 4 and 5. So it started at position 3, and it's printed what's at position 3. See if I can resize these windows. And it's also printed what's at position 4, but not what's at position 5. Okay, so it will print that section. So in other words, those 2 index numbers. So it will start there and go up to, but not include that. Okay. Now the next one where there's no number, a colon, and then in this case 5, that will print the first the first five numbers from the list. So it will print what's index 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, but not including 5. Okay, so you can see it's the number, but doesn't go up to that number. And then the last one, 3 colon nothing, okay, that will start at position 3 in the list, just there, and it will print everything up to the end of the list. Okay. So with that in mind, can you do these tasks here? Okay, give those a go. This one here, you could do this on separate lines. Okay, so you could do print 2, print 4, and so on. Can we do it on the same line? Okay, think about what we use to split lines up when we're putting everything on a big long line. So what we put here, if I wanted to add something to this line. Okay, so that's quite a tricky one. That, see how you get on. Can you print all those numbers from the list on the same line? And then finally, so that was task 2, and then finally task 3. And again, just pause the video here while you're doing task 2. Is just a little thing. We can modify values in a list. Okay, so I can do scores 0 equals 12. So whatever's at position 0 will now become 12. Okay, so I can test this out by doing print scores, and we should see 12 at the start of the list instead of 1. There we go. You can see that number has been replaced by 12. Okay, so a couple of quick ones. Can you replace the number 5, which is here, with the number 14? And can we replace that with the number 10? Okay, so try both of those tasks out.